I refuse to kick off the first show of the year giving any of my energy to the bullshit that's going on in pop culture right now. And you know what I'm referring to. So I'm gonna just talk about myself.
Yeah. The outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. Yeah. The outline. With Kevin Dwayne. The outline. With Kevin Dwayne. This is the outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne with Kevin Dwayne.
Today's episode of the Outline Podcast is brought to you by... Who the hell is it brought to you by? Oh, Audible, girl. Audible is offering the listeners of this show one free audiobook and a 30-day free trial. To redeem this, you can go to www.audibletrial.com/outlinepod or simply click the link in the show notes. You know, J.C. Chazé doesn't get the credit he deserves. NSYNC, vocally, like, he killed it every time. And I know Justin was like, he had the it factor. I get it. He could do little oohs and ahs around the house. But J.C. Chazé was, as the church people say, oily. You know, he's had some fat back and hot water cornbread in his life. And just... I hate to compare, but he was kind of like the Wanye Morris of NSYNC, you know, just the runs, the ad-libs, they were just the placements. They were so good in every track, and he just needs more credit. And Justin Timberlake turned out to have trash-ass politics. So I feel like we should just go ahead and retrofit JC as the first lead singer of NSYNC, because they were co-leads, by the way. Justin was not the lead. They were co-leads. But JC, vocally, he tied that group together. I just had to put that out there. I've been having a pop moment today. You know, I ventured into NSYNC and 98 Degrees, a little bit of Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys are like peak white. But they had a couple bops that I liked, like All I Have to Give. Oh, that was my shit. That was my jam. But other than that, they didn't really have the soul that I needed. But I did a little bit of Britney. Also, Britney's self-titled Britney album was my shit. That was my jam. That was freshman year. No, that was sophomore year of high school for me. And one thing I also noticed about that album, I went to a white high school. I've said it several times on this show. Let me show you how the difference in how some of our masculinity is performative in our culture of just being black. I had a group of white guy friends, and they were straight. They identified as straight. To this day, they're all married with kids. Straight. But they were fans of Britney Spears. And we used to sing Britney Spears songs. I was the only gay person in the group. Granted, I wasn't out at the time, but I was the only gay person in the group. And these other motherfuckers knew every fucking word to, I'm talking about tracks from the album tracks, not even like singles, album tracks, anticipating, okay? And nothing was said about it. It was just a regular day. A regular day. That would never happen in my hood, ever. Like, as a male, you had to listen to like Jay-Z. You couldn't even listen to R&B that featured a goddamn woman on it. Like, it had to be like Avant or somebody, you know? So that was a thought I had when I listened to Britney Spears. I remember the day of going to one of my friends' houses and we were all singing the song in the back, and the person's mom was just laughing because we were coming from some sporting event or something. And it's just random thought, but whatever. Happy New Year. This is the Outline Podcast, your weekly discussion of all things pop culture, LGBT culture, and a piece of encouragement for everyone. I am Kevin Dwayne. I thank you all. First things first, I have to shout out Here for It Pod. Shout out to you all. Thank you so much for nominating me in your top 5 LGBTQ podcasts of the year. That is a great honor. And it's one of those things where it's good to be seen, or in this case, heard. And thank you. I'm glad that the show is reaching people and people are connecting with it, and I'm a part of your lives weekly, and I don't take that lightly. So thank you so much for nominating me. And also, when Pods in Color posted the request for people to vote for their favorite podcast, shout out to all of you who tagged me. Stevie So Fetch of Him Podcast, thank you so much for tagging me. I'm a big fan of the Him Podcast, and I think you are amazing. I love everyone on the show. And also, can you go ahead and pass Aaron my number? Actually, scratch that. I'm going to edit that out the show. No, I'm not. But thank you so much. I appreciate all of you who tagged me. Eat, Pray, Thought podcast is dope as hell. Listen to the Here For a podcast. And there's just so many dope podcasts out there. So it's dope. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That was a great thing to kind of open my social media up to while I was on hiatus, but I don't want it to go unnoticed. And yeah, thank you. And thank you all for voting for the show. Thank you for commenting on the show. Thank you for sharing the show with your friends. Continue to do so, because that's how we get these honors. This is how we move up the chain. This is how we do the damn thing in the podcast industry and community. So thank you. I had a wonderful time off. I was gone for 2 weeks. And when I say gone, I meant at home on my couch chilling. Or, I mean, it was a little bit of here and there. So I took 2 weeks off because I didn't want to put a show out during the holidays. I wanted to give it a breather. And I also wanted to enjoy some of my own time off. I truly believe there's this, I wish I would have looked up where it comes from, but there is just like this saying that our lives tend to change every 7 years. Our thoughts change, our identities kind of adjust. We evolved every 7 years. 7 is that year. And I have to say, this is my 7th year, I'm going into it, of living in Atlanta. And I actually remember feeling the same way in January of 2012. And it's just this feeling that something big is about to happen and something's about to adjust. And that can be both good or bad, but just know it's evolution and you have to just be ready for it. But I do feel a big transition coming. And also some opportunities have presented themselves lately that lets me know it's coming very, very soon, especially if it works in my favor and if it works how I have been manifesting it. But I definitely feel a lot of changes coming this year. And that's not on some resolution shit, it's just on some how life goes. And I even feel how my mindset is shifting. Also, I'm seeing things a little bit differently and I'm making adjustments as it is. So I'm excited for what's to come. And just know I will be sharing with you any changes that happen that, pertain to the show and whatnot. But I am truly excited. But I enjoyed the time off because I feel like a transition is coming. So I just wanted to enjoy my downtime. I spent Christmas with some friends. We got an Airbnb. It was in East Point, which it was in a hood ass area, but the house was everything. The house was so wonderful. Like, it was keyless entry, and the amenities were amazing. Remote control, everything. They had like a television that had all the streaming services on it, so you can just connect to it. Top of the line kitchen. The beds were everything. The shower was everything. In fact, if you've seen my shower photo on my Instagram, that was actually in the Airbnb. Anytime I see a bomb ass shower, I'm taking a photo. That it just is what it is. It is what it is. If I see a shower, I'm like, yep, a nude will be taken in there. Speaking of the nude that I posted, I think it's so funny how every time I post one, I do it annually. It's literally strategic. I do it every year. It's just, I don't look at nudity the way everyone else looks at it. I have no problem posting it. I don't necessarily sexualize nudity out the gate. I think it's just, we have to love our bodies and just move forward with it. I know that it comes across as a thirst trap, and that's fine. You can thirst all you want. You can say what you want. You can do what you want, but it's my own personal thing. But I think it's funny how the same people who like the photos from years before act so surprised when I post it at present time. I'm like, this isn't new. But at the same time, I'd rather them think it's a new thing and be shocked by it than say, oh Lord, not him posting nude again. So, apples to oranges. I'm not tripping. It is what it is. But I post a nude every single year. Every single year. Every single year. There's always going to be something like that. In fact, you'll probably get a nice thirst trap every 3 to 6 months, really. But as far as like the news of me, showing my ass and whatnot, it's once a year. It's just something I do. And I think I'm gonna add, it's around the same time. It's usually around winter time. So I think I'm gonna start doing it like Christmas Eve every year, just so it is kind of like it has like an annual, so you just know it's coming. But I don't know. Good stuff. But that happened in the Airbnb. But I enjoyed myself, had a great time, got to see my friends, got to go to my family's house and celebrate with them. I was gifted a Google Mini, which I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. Now, granted, this is an Apple house, so it wasn't much I could connect her to, but I didn't want her to feel left out. So I give her little tasks like, hey girl, what's the time? What's the weather today? Can you tell me the directions from here to here? And occasionally I'll say, oh, play this song for me on Spotify. But, outside of that, there's not much else I can do because it's an Apple house. I just don't want her to feel mistreated in the home that she's been placed in. And it works out as a good bed next to the bed on my nightstand. It was perfectly, because when I'm tired, that shit comes in handy. When you wake up early in the morning and you don't feel like turning around, you can literally say, hey, what time is it? And it will tell you. And I'm like, yes, and control the volume and whatnot. So it comes in handy. I definitely have been enjoying it. The setup was a little extra for me, but I have been enjoying it. So shout out to my cousin for buying that for me. And I got some other cool gifts too. As you all know, I'm preparing for this damn marathon. It's called this damn marathon because the mileage is getting so real right now. It's so real right now. I ran a half marathon, that's 13.1 miles, on Saturday. It took me 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I am seeing that this is where the mental focus is going to be needed. The mental strength and the fortitude, because your body actually goes out on you. It actually starts clocking out and saying, listen, girl, I don't know what you plan to do, but I'm done. I'm about to just lay you right on out right here. So I've entered the place now where I'm actually pricing. I'm actually going this weekend before my long run this weekend. Luckily, this week is a taper run. So I've talked about this before. When you do training for marathons, you do a long run, right? Then the next week it tapers down a little bit to give yourself a chance to recover. So last weekend I did 13.1 miles. This upcoming weekend I'll do 10. 10 is nothing for me. Like 10 comes easy now because my body's getting stronger. So I'll do 10 this upcoming weekend. So I'm thinking this Friday or whenever I get paid, I'm going to go to the Big Peach running company. I'm going to get me a Camelback so I can carry snacks and stuff with me and also have water. And I'm also going to get, like the running gels. And actually, while I'm there, I'm probably going to get fitted for some shoes and have them give me the right shoes for my feet, because this is not a game. I don't play around with my body, and I don't want to have any injuries. So I want to make sure I'm doing this right. But I've reached a place where I have to fuel up during my runs. And I think that's the amazing part of this journey. You start learning things. Because I'm out there running so long, I now have to feed my body every hour just to kind of keep it going. So we moved into the next stage, and hopefully that will help me go a further distance because it's only going up from here. So this weekend is 10 miles, but then the following weekend is going to be 15. And mind you, I run during the week. But what's dope is I did a 5K this morning. And when I say this morning, I mean when I'm recording this. I'm recording this on Tuesday. I did a 5K and I did it so quickly. My heart was just like, oh, that's it? Okay, cool, we got this. And I was just kind of amazed at how our bodies really adapt and we can really train our bodies to do anything we want it to do. So it's definitely it's a journey. And I know I'm probably wearing it out, but I want to give a special shout out to Raven Okundayo of the Healing Space podcast. You guys know he's my yogi. He teaches me yoga, but he's been a very integral part of my training. He switched his whole sessions up to make sure that I'm getting what I need to recover. We do stretch therapy, and he makes sure that I'm getting blood flow all over my body, and it's been wonderful, especially after a long run. I go to yoga the very next day, sometimes right after I do my long runs, and he really like makes sure that I'm getting like blood flow to all the parts that are probably locking and messed up, and I really think that helps. I think that's why I haven't had any injuries yet. And I don't plan on getting any injuries, honestly. It's been a great journey. So I just want to thank him again. I told him this personally, but I'm really happy. I love the support I'm getting. People are starting to ask me when the marathon is so they can come and support me at the finish line. And I just love that people are on the journey with me. And that includes you all who are listening. Like, I really thank you. So I've been doing that. I've been training. Although on New Year's Eve, I fucked around and got sick. And it was trash. Like, I was like, am I really starting the year off sick? And that leads me into my next point. As you guys know, I was vegan for quite some time. I want to say a year and a half. I think I may be giving myself a little bit more time, but I believe it was a year and a half. But I revisited animal products. DVZ was like, you mean meat, nigga? I was like, yeah, but you have to understand that there are other things that are animal products besides meat. But I began eating meat. I started eating dairy. I fully immersed myself back into animal products. And you know what? I am going back. This lifestyle isn't for me. It's just not. Though I enjoyed eating wings again, and I enjoyed having like mac and cheese and having like ribs and stuff like that again, I don't like the way my body feels. I just don't. And I know that for meat eaters, y'all get so tired of vegans talking about, how they eat, but big fucking whoop, you'll get over it. But it definitely does affect your body. It does. And so some things that I noticed were, number one, bubble guts. I'm just not here for it. The whole time that I was plant-based, I didn't have stomach issues. I didn't have digestion issues because of the high fiber intake. Like, everything passed as it should. There weren't no loose bowels. There were no clenching on the toilet. There was none of that. As soon as I introduced food back, I was like, what the fuck? Is this really worth it? And the answer is no. Number two, my skin. Now, my skin is still fairly clear. Shout out to, my mom and dad, because it's genetic. But there's a certain toughness that's happening right now because of my diet. I'm not here for that either. I'm not trying to start aging right now. I've done very well at keeping a youthful look, and I want to preserve it well into old age. So it's time to scale back on that. And number three, I got sick. I hadn't gotten sick in 2 years. And I know that some people feel like diet have nothing to do with it, but it does. And hear me out. So when you eat dairy makes your body pretty much build up mucus. Mucus is what holds bacteria in and causes you to kind of endure sickness. Now, I may have been exposed to bacteria and sickness when I was plant-based, but a cold never stuck. I didn't have so much as a stuffed nose, a congested chest, nothing for 2 years. And then on New Year's Eve, I got sick and I was like, yeah, no, this ain't nothing but diet. Fuck that. So I am returning back to plant-based. I never got to a place of actually buying meat at home. I did buy some cheese. I made some waffles, so I bought some eggs to make the waffles, but it's just not worth it for me. So I'm actually gonna switch back to plant-based, and it works better for my body. Once again, I've been eating wings for like the last 2 or 3 months. I'm not shaming nobody. They're delicious, but for me and my body, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. I can't partake. But it was a fun little a little retreat. And it was like a vacation, not for my stomach, but it was just a little vacation to try some things out. But it's just not. Ugh. It ain't working out. It ain't working out. So that's that. Also, gaming. I've been really deep into gaming the last couple of weeks. So here's the story. I was big into gaming 2008 to about 2012, really. That's before life changed for me. I had a PS3 and I would play that. I had certain games that I enjoyed playing on there. Then I moved to Atlanta and things got lost in the sauce because life happened. And then also the CD-ROM or the DVD player, on the PS3 went out. And at that point I was like, fuck it. I don't feel like getting this replaced. So I just kind of let it just collect dust. And it was a month ago, I was watching Ready Player One, which is a great movie. I enjoyed it. But it got me thinking about gaming, like, damn, I miss playing games. And I was like, damn, I really want to play a game now. So I ended up pulling out the PS3 that I still had that was collecting dust. And I was like, oh, there's still games on here from the PlayStation Network that don't require disc and I can still play it. So I charged my controller right on up and I began playing, and it just reminded me of how much I enjoyed gaming and the escapism of it all. It's just, I instantly was just chill and was like, oh, damn, I missed this. Well, I got a little ahead of myself, and the next day I decided I was going to try to fix the CD-ROM drive because it was the lens that wasn't reading. So I opened it up and I cleaned the lens and I put it back together. But what's the word I'm looking for? One of the cords came apart from it. It was one of those thin cords that was like taped by PlayStation to it, and you have to be very sensitive to get it back on there. I couldn't get it back attached, and then I spent so much time trying to get that thing going. And then once I plugged the PlayStation back, none of it worked anymore. So I was like, fuck it. So at this point, I was irritated at myself because I couldn't do my little DIY project, and also I couldn't play anymore, and I got this interest back in playing, and I was really looking forward to spending my vacation playing video games. And so I was telling Sensei Raven about it. I was just like, this sucks, man. Like, I was really looking forward to playing these games, and I got back into it. He was like, just go ahead and get a PS4. Now, Raven and I have been friends for 2 years, and he's starting to learn that I'm the wrong person to encourage to go do something because I don't wait, I don't think, I don't do. When I tell you we got off of Marco Polo and I went straight to Best Buy, bought a damn PlayStation 4 bundle, came back home and sent him a picture and said, see, you obviously don't know who the fuck you're dealing with. And he literally just looked and laughed. He was like, he's like, I mean, I really meant go get one. I just didn't know it would have been like right now. But yeah, sure did. Went ahead and got the Call of Duty bundle, which I don't get that game. I've not played it. I was in the courtyard with a gun and was just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? So I put that on hold. But the games I'm enjoying are Spider-Man. Spider-Man is everything. The storyline is great. Although the combat scenes can be a little identical. I feel like I'm just mashing a bunch of buttons to take people out, but it's still fun. But I enjoy the storyline. I enjoy being able to fly through the city, and that part's super fun. I like Grand Theft Auto because nigga, and NBA Live also for the previous reason, nigga. And Onrush. It was a free game for December. PlayStation Plus gives you free games every month. It gives like 2 or 3 games you can pick from. And I got Onrush, and I love that game. It's like an off-roading game, and I play that shit the most. I love it. All the objectives, I play it for hours. I turn my Spotify on, and I can play it for the longest. It just get the adrenaline always runs. I love it so much. So that's one of my favorite games. But since this PS4, I've not been worried about niggas at all. Like, I've not cared about a nigga. In fact, I'd rather masturbate than entertain a nigga because I can get back to my game. Like, if you come over, I can't play my game because I only have one controller and I don't want to share. So just stay where you are and I will play this right here by myself. And I also think it's just the mindset that I'm in, which moves me into what I was talking about, how our mindsets start to change every 7 years. I was at prep my prep quarterly. They said it was my 21-month checkup. I was like, okay, 21 months. So yeah, that makes sense because I'll be at 2 years of being on prep in a few more months. So yeah, that makes sense. So it was my 21-month checkup. And so they were going through the whole motions of taking every liquid I had in my body, swabbing every hole I got, except my ears. And you have to do, as you know, if you've been tested, as you should be, everyone who listens to the show should be getting tested. I don't care. Male, female, straight, gay, bi, whatever. You need to be getting tested. I do not care. If you are sexually active, get tested. If you're not, get tested just to know what it feels like. Okay. So anyway, when you get tested, they have to do a risk analysis. So basically they ask you, how many sexual partners have you had? How many are known to be positive? How many do you not know at all? How many people do drugs? They ask you, it's a whole thing to just see what your risk factor is. This time, so the place I go to Positive Impact Indicator, and they are changing their systems often. Every time I go in there, they have a new system. And I'm not necessarily, I go with the flow. I'm very adaptable. I don't really get pressed over change like that. But I will say the last maybe 4 times I've gone, they've changed the order in which they do things, the processes, the people. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Hopefully you find something that's faster. But what it is they have so many clients going in and out of there, and the program is now free. So if you're listening, if you want to get on prep, it's free. The program's now free. So they're trying to come up with ways to service everybody because they only have 2 doctors on premise. So they keep changing up the order in which they do things and how they do things. So now, instead of them asking you the questions on the risk analysis, they give you the paper and you fill it out yourself. And I was like, I actually kind of like this more. Now, in my 14 years of getting tested, my God, in my 14 years of getting tested, I always dislike the part where they ask you the risk analysis because it's like, yes, no, how many partners? I don't know, child. It's one of those things you're just like, I'd rather not. And I always just think to myself, can I just give you a template and you just take this and put it somewhere? So now they give it to you and you can fill it out. So I don't have to say all my transgressions out loud. So I was filling it out, going through how many sexual partners have you had in the last 6 months and how many were known to be positive, how many you didn't ask at all, and did any of them have drugs on them, were they paid for sex, the whole thing. And I was going through it. And in that moment of filling it out, I kind of had this, not epiphany, but this kind of thought of like, I'm done for a while. And what I mean by I'm done for a while is just like, part of me was like, I'm kind of tired of answering these questions. I'm kind of tired of counting and going backwards and thinking about my sexual partners and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? It's a new year. It's not a new me. It's the same nigga from last year, but it's a new year. And every time I get tested and get my results back and I'm all clear and all that good stuff, I think to myself, like, it's a reset for me. I don't do like I ain't counted sexual partners since I was in college, and that was a mistake then. Lord knows what the number is now. I don't care about that shit. But every time I get tested and, everything's all good, I just kind of start over. And I was like, it's a new year. I'm starting over. Let me chill out a little bit. Let me chill out. Let me limit my sexual partners and who I'm connecting with. Like, I'm good. And like I said, with the gaming and shit and the marathon training, I haven't really been thinking about like sex in the same way. And I've also not been worried about like the whole thing. So I was like, you know what? Let me pull myself off the apps for a little bit. So I deleted the apps, and I was just like, I don't have to deal with that energy for a little bit. Let me just chill out. Let me chill out and just focus on all the shit I have going on. Like I said, I have some opportunities I think are coming along. So I'm looking forward to that. Marathon is still happening. I got this PS4, and there's just other things I can be focusing my energy on. And I'm not necessarily calling it celibacy, because if the right person comes along, I'm fucking them. But right now, I'm not interested in new sexual partners or hookups, rather. Something like that. Like, it has to be something that has a little bit of depth, or maybe someone that previously that I've already dealt with. But as far as just the whole hookup culture, I'm just taking a break from it right now. And I know, I just feel like it's the time to do so. And in that moment, I was like, it would be nice if I can go into my 24-month meeting of being on prep, my 2 year, if it was like, how many sexual partners? I mean, if I could have under 2, that'd be awesome. I'd be like, oh, they'd be like, really, nigga? No. But that would be dope. That would be dope. And I honestly, I'm very real about that. I mean, I have no problem talking about my own sexual proclivities, but it will be a nice switch up to just chill out for a little bit. Like, I've had my fun, and I feel like considering my own promiscuity and my own casual nature, I've done very well health wise. Like, and I don't want to say I got off, because that's the wrong way of framing it, because I mean, I have my own version of I guess protection and taking care of myself. But all things considered, I've done very well at keeping myself healthy and functioning, and I think I've had fun. So now I'm like, let me chill out a little bit. Let me, just put the whole card up a little bit for a little while and just focus on some other things. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I mean, it's not indefinite. There's no time limit. It's not going to be like a 90-day situation if I'm dating somebody, but I'm just not so focused on getting off with other people. Now, solo sex, nigga, I'm jacking off 4 times a day. I don't know that that's gonna change, because I like myself. But as far as like, sexual partners and stuff, it will be nice not to even consider that. Like, one testing period, not even think about it. Not even think about, who, just it would just be nice. So that's where I'm at with that. So that's that. Also, while I was out, I got a chance to see If Bill Street Could Talk, and it was amazing. Shout out to Regina King. She won for supporting actress at the Golden Globes. But that movie, Barry Jenkins did it again. It's beautiful. It's stunning. And just seeing beautiful Black people in that movie, it was powerful. I always felt like I was at the brink of crying the entire time, but y'all know I'm sensitive. And it was really good. That's really all I can say. It was a really well done film, and it will make you feel a certain way. It really will, but it's definitely worth seeing. And that's that. So before I get out of here, I do have something that I do want to touch on. Lately, there's been a lot going on in media. You guys know the stories. You guys have taken part of the discussions on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And a lot of these things deal with how we treat people. That's what it comes down to. Everything that's going on right now comes down to how we treat people. And I've done a lot of unfollowing in the last week or so for different reasons. And there's just certain people I can't align myself with, because it siphons with my peace. And as you all know, I protect my peace. And I'm not going to be in the presence of people who don't care about who they hurt with their terrible ass beliefs. And that's just that. And I keep seeing these posts by people who say, well, how is it that you can put people out of your life just because they have different opinions than you? And I just want to comment on that for a little bit. All right. Android versus iPhone. Those are differing opinions. Frosted Flakes versus Raisin Bran. Differing opinions. Beyonce versus everybody else. Differing opinions. You mean that's preference. It's different things. You know, Dallas Cowboys versus the Rams. You know, different. These are preferences. These are things that you like versus other things. You can be friends. You guys don't have to like the same things. You guys don't have to have preference for the same things. I have friends who don't like what I like, and vice versa. That's not a problem. But if your opinion is rooted in the oppression of a group, I don't have to fucking respect you, nor that ignorant ass opinion, or keep you in my like for the sake of fair is fair and I'm entitled to my opinion. Listen, you're entitled to your opinion, but that doesn't avoid consequence, and that doesn't mean I have to have you in my life. And with all that is happening in politics and entertainment and music and everything, sports, you name it, I'm commonly seeing people cape for terrible, vile human beings. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. Whether you are a gay person who is allowing straight people to tell you that your identity is a lifestyle, even though it's not, it's your identity, and tell you they don't agree with it and that you're going to hell and that, you know, you're trash and this, that, and the other. But instead of calling them out or pushing them out of your life, you just say, oh, well, you know, that's just how they feel. It's okay. Okay, that's how they feel, but why are you allowing them in your presence? And why do you want to be in their presence? And I know it comes down to internalized homophobia and anti-blackness and you name it. I know that's at the root. I just can't fuck with it. I don't go into any space that I'm merely tolerated. Fuck that. I need to be celebrated everywhere because I celebrate people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, nah, for what? The only place you gotta be around some motherfuckers you don't like is work. Nowhere else. Nowhere, I mean, some of y'all go to church, but I feel like that's lumped in with the shit I'm talking about. You ain't gonna find me in no church because I don't have to motherfucking go. But work is the only place you have to be around people you don't like. Maybe jury duty, maybe a flight. But day in and day out, work is the one place you have to be in that space. Why are you sharing your space with people who don't even like you, who don't care about you, who is hurting the culture, who is hurting the people in your community, who don't care about the people in community? What's the point? It's more than just an opinion. It's more than just a preference. It's like you're saying, my rights don't matter. You're saying I don't matter. You're saying I don't have a fucking right to live. But you want me here because you see some kind of benefit to it. I have an issue with that. So if you don't have a rightful place in my life, it is what it is. You can have a differing opinion all you want. You just can't have it here. And I don't want you here, like, at all. And so to all, you know, I know cancel culture is big, and I know I'm not big on cancel culture unless you're a vile human being. If you're vile, you need to be canceled. But it's okay to move people and disassociate from people who have different views than you, especially if they are oppressing other people, if they are ignorant, and if they are hating. I don't think there's any balance in keeping people that want to oppress others around. There just isn't. You can only teach so much. And that's just that. So to all those people I unfollowed, it was because they were hateful, they were ignorant, and I don't see it getting better. And I'm not going to sit there and watch them put all that negativity on my timeline because it's all at will. And that's all I wanted to say about that. But thank you guys so much for listening. Please, if you're listening, you listening right now, I'm talking to you. Yes, you. You think I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to you. You share this episode. Share it. Share it with a friend. Tag me on your page. Post it on your story. Post it on your feed and tag me. Share it with a friend. Leave your comments. Go on Apple Podcasts and review. Give it 5 stars. And I will talk to you all next week. Peace out.